Is it possible to overestimate your own fighting ability? Yes, it is. In this video, I want to share with you 4 signs that someone may be overestimating their fighting ability. Stick around. Truth be told, it's very easy to over-exaggerate our abilities in a lot of things. It's just that in the area of fighting or combatives, it can be a dangerous thing to do so. This video is not designed to be condescending. It's just all about awareness. It's bringing all of us back to a more humble way of thinking and to avoid a very common pitfall that a lot of people are in. So let's get started. This first one's not going to be easy to hear. It may rub a lot of people the wrong way. I just believe it to be absolutely true. And that is, one may be overestimating their ability to fight if they are extremely out of shape, but yet cocky. I'm not saying that you have to be in the same shape as an MMA athlete or a boxer to be able to be effective in fighting and combatives, but there are people out here who have no cardio, very little physical strength. They're very lazy. They're not active. They don't engage in any martial skill, but yet they have this idea that they can beat people up. I think they are over-exaggerating their abilities. I'm not doubting that they may have a good swing. I'm not doubting that they may be ferocious if they need to be. What I'm doubting is their ability to endure anything that happens and goes on for any length of time. Fighting sucks, at least it should. And it's only something that we should do if we're forced into a situation where we have to protect ourselves. In most cases, fights can be avoided. But it is one of the most physical things that we can do. And a lot of people who are out of shape have struggles with things that are much less demanding than fighting. Fighting is the highest level of physicality. You're swinging, you're wrestling, you're grappling, you're rolling around trying to get back up. It is extremely physically exhausting. And in order to be able to be effective, there has to be a measure of physicality. And there's no amount of martial science or cockiness that can make up for that. So if we want to be able to at least hold our own, we've got to be in a decent level of shape. The second sign that one may be overestimating their fighting ability is believing they can naturally fight without a measure of real-world testing and experience. And that is a broad spectrum. Real-world fighting experience can be wrestling full contact in the backyard with a friend or a sibling that you're angry with. I mean, you don't have to get in an actual hate-filled conflict with somebody to feel the force of another human. If you've ever gotten angry with your friend and you're in a full-blown wrestling match, you're getting a measure of experience there. Maybe a fight with a brother. You know, I've seen situations where brothers went at it. It wasn't quite as brutal or dramatic as a street fight, but those individuals were getting to feel the force of another human being. But a street fight is a whole nother level of experience. Very unpredictable. You got 2 strong wills coming together, doing anything they can to win. You know, all of that stuff matters, whether or not you've experienced that before. Even sparring, I mean, just the opportunity to put on a pair of gloves and spar with someone. There's all kinds of ways you can get some experience, but there are people out here who have had no experience, but yet they have this inflated view of their own abilities. It would be best for them to say, you know what, I feel like I'm a pretty strong guy. I've overcome a lot of adversity in my life. I've, been effective under pressure. Hopefully I would do okay. That's a humble response to a lack of real world experience. But a lot of people think they can fight because they've been watching other people fight. It doesn't work that way. And even if you've had a little bit of experience, there's still a lot more experience that you have not had. Another sign that someone may be overestimating their fighting ability is overconfidence due to past victories or even credentials. It's easy for the guy who's beat up a couple of people in the streets to think he's going to be okay, and then he gets entangled with somebody who's finally got his number. It's easy for the Taekwondo or karate point fighter to get an inflated view of their abilities and then get entangled with somebody who's a really great wrestler. A while back, I saw a video of an Aikido guy who had challenged an MMA fighter. He was very confident in his Aikido experience and abilities, and He goes out and has a sparring session with this guy, full contact sparring session. He gets kicked in the leg and then smacked in the head one time, and he was done. It was like that smack was the greatest dose of reality he had ever tasted. It's easy to get cocky if we've had a few successful street encounters. It's easy to feel cocky if we've got some sort of martial degree. But no matter our successes, we need to always have the mentality that somebody out there has got our number. The fourth sign that someone may be over-exaggerating their fighting ability is if they rely too much on their anger. You'll have those guys that say, when I see red, it's over. Well, the problem with seeing red is that you don't see everything else. Trust me, there are guys out here that don't care about your temper. They don't care about you seeing red. Some of these dudes out here are super bad, super in shape. They're focused and they know right when to capitalize, and they're not too worried about some guy who thinks he's gonna win every fight just because he turns into the Incredible Hulk and gets so angry. I'll die on this hill, and that is some of the most dangerous people I've ever known never felt the need to overestimate their own abilities. A dangerous person doesn't need to talk about his or her abilities all the time. They simply train and do everything they can to stay dangerous. When nobody else is watching, they're training, they're putting in the work. If you're really out of shape with your cardio, if you're out of shape concerning physical strength and the ability to lift an adequate amount of weight, if you're not doing any kind of martial training, boxing, karate, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, I could go on and on. If you're not doing any training, then you should not overestimate your ability to fight. Doesn't matter if you've been in fights before and had success. By and large, if you get into a fight that endures, you're going to struggle, especially if you go up against somebody who has the attributes that you don't. I'm not throwing stones at you. I just want you to be honest with yourself and maybe put in a little more work if you want to be more capable. If you've won fights in the past and you were successful defending yourself in the past, good. But just know you may not be in the future, and keep that humble mindset. Those of you who are saying, when I see red, it's over, I'd rather you be more focused than that. I'd rather you be more focused than just seeing red. If you want to use that anger and use that rage, that's fine, but let it be controlled. If anger and rage don't work out that well for professional fighters, it's probably not going to work out that well for you. It's when anger and rage is honed in and put into focus when it makes a difference. I'll close with this. I believe the best policy in life is to respect everyone. Don't overestimate your own abilities. If anything, overestimate your opponent. Respect them. I don't care if they're big or small, whether they're thin, whether they're jacked. You need to respect them because they may have your number. I'm not saying you're not dangerous, and I'm not saying that you aren't capable. I just don't want you to over-exaggerate it because that can get you in trouble. Thanks for watching. Take care.